That's the only way I know his name. Joke's on you. Wow. Here we go. Episode 2. A lot to talk about. Welcome back to the podcast. Turn 14. We're super excited to talk a little bit more about what has happened over the past week. A lot has happened. And we definitely want to talk about a lot of the other things like Drive to Survive and some other things. So we're just super pumped about what's happened over the past week.
We're finally back. Let's go.
Let's go.
I'm super pumped.
I didn't think we'd make it this far, to be honest with you. Oh, God.
Yeah, no, we're finally back. There's so much that happened this past weekend. There's a lot to talk about there, like you mentioned.
Yeah.
Oh man, I can't wait to get into it. It's just absolute chaos.
Yeah. Let's jump right in. I'm excited.
Absolutely. So I mean, let's talk about it. And I know there's a lot that we need to talk about. But wait, hold on, Mark. How do you get back to this? We'll cut this out.
It's good. It's part of the.
Oh, perfect. So I mean, I guess before we talk about the race, because again, there's a lot to talk about the race. I say we talk a little bit more about Drive to Survive. I think there's been a lot of skepticism on Drive to Survive. I know a lot of newer people who are getting into the sport are probably coming from Drive to Survive, so I thought it might be a good spot to chat about.
It's how I got sort of into all of this. And this new season was interesting. I think they made some weird choices, but
absolutely,
I agree.
But yeah, it was fun.
In what sense though? What do you think? What stood out to you?
Yeah, there's some obvious stuff. I think what we had spoke about a little bit was kind of what they did with Lewis Hamilton's win at Silverstone. But in general, it's weird, I guess, watching this show, having watched the entire season and thinking about well, that's definitely going to be on the show, and then it never shows up.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we were so wrong.
We were so wrong.
We were so wrong. I don't know what they're doing out with Netflix, but it was weird. Yeah, I agree with you 100%.
They did Lando fine. That was fine. Yeah. But
there's a narrative that they're pushing with Max that it's just been the topic for it's been the narrative since season 4.
Yes.
Yeah. Or not even going to season 3 up until now. It's just Max, bad guy. Max is the enemy, and they made it seem as if Max and Norris have this very butting head relationship, even though they're pretty good friends.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, remember when we got to Miami and I was talking so much shit about Max because I didn't know. I was talking so much shit about Max, but that's because exactly right. Netflix made it seem like Max is the villain, and obviously, as I come to know, he's an absolute savage in every sense of the word. But yeah, I think yes, they build a narrative, but I mean that's Netflix. That's what it is.
Right.
Yeah. And so they have to build a story.
Yeah, I don't find it weird maybe that they do stuff like that. You have to build this sort of drama in it all. But there's some stuff I just figured they would highlight, and it's obviously a little less about the races and more about the drivers. And so yeah, I don't know. I think seeing the way they portrayed Max, especially cutting between different races like the Miami and the whatever it is.
Yeah. The one in the Netherlands,
Yes.
Yeah. His home race, the quick little edits.
Right.
I do, yeah.
Well, let's be very clear. Max is an absolute savage. He is without a doubt, he is just straight business. So what you see on the Netflix series is him, his attitude and things like that. But the way they try to flip it with him and Norris was a little strange. I understand. I get it. Netflix needs to sell a story, and people are going to be hooked to drama. So why not? Kudos to Netflix for pulling it off in such a way. But going back to Hamilton and his win, when Hamilton won, like you said in the first episode, you got emotional. I was just getting into the sport, and I also got emotional. And the announcers, everything about it was emotional. Seeing him drive around with the flag, seeing him cry to his dad. No, they don't mention any of that. And I was so surprised.
Yeah, I don't know how they go about like following who decides like are we just gonna follow? We just so happen to follow George Russell on Silverstone. Like I
That was
don't know
weird.
who made it. Yeah, it was a little odd. I find it like Silverstone, Hamilton, home race. I get it's technically a home race for both of them,
Mhm.
George Russell and Hamilton, but I did find it like you guys not have enough people to like follow every single driver or at least the top guys, you know?
Yeah.
I think it would have been such an amazing story to tell if they would have really like they definitely downplayed it
Yeah.
or
Well,
at least didn't show it.
can you maybe talk a little bit as to why it was so emotional?
Oh,
Because for the people who are not necessarily familiar with Lewis Hamilton or why we're so frustrated with that particular reason.
yeah. Yeah, no, absolutely. For anybody that doesn't know, it's like Hamilton so in 2021, Hamilton there was a huge controversy around the last race in Abu Dhabi. It was the first time in a very long time where we have two drivers tied up in points. It really came down to whoever crosses the line first.
Sure.
So it's like that again, that's a whole other conversation to have. There's a bunch of videos on it. I'm sure we'll do a video
Yeah,
on it
yeah.
and go dive deep into, what happened. But that was the last season that Hamilton
Was winning.
was winning, right?
What season? What year was this?
This is
2021.
2021. Yeah. Yeah. So I think he got robbed, but that's just my opinion. I do think Max he deserved
Right.
to be world champ. Absolutely. I just think the way that last race kind of ended was just weird. And I
Yeah,
remember
that's-
watching it
that was a
and
nightmare.
I was just like, what the actual fuck
But
is
again,
going on?
this is 2021. This
Yeah.
is the last time he was winning. 4 years go by and he does not win a race.
Yeah, it's almost 3 years of well, 2021 was the last
Oh,
year
yeah,
of the
3
regulations of the car that he was dominating and Mercedes was dominating in. So they introduced cost caps, new regulations, brand new cars, and going into 2022 season, just Mercedes just didn't figure it out. Like they just dropped the ball, I guess,
Right.
and they just didn't have the most competitive car. But it was a very difficult car to drive. I think Hamilton just constantly giving feedback about the car, and who really knows what was going on behind closed doors of the team dynamics. But it just
Yeah.
doesn't seem Hamilton had that that.
But
Yeah.
since that switch, right? It was like you said, almost 3 years of not winning, and then he
Yeah.
we come to this race in Silverstone last year, and
His home
his
race.
home race, and I don't think anyone was expecting Mercedes to come out on top in that race, and for Lewis to do it his last time there as a Mercedes driver, like
Yeah.
it was a lot, and I think it was a big missed
was a lot.
opportunity for Netflix, and part of me wonders, because they had to sort of focus on him this season about moving to Ferrari, if they didn't want to like highlight that as much, but this is the GOAT, like you
Yeah.
It's just, it just takes away from, like, again, when that race happened, I remember, like, taking pictures of my TV. Like, this is amazing.
Yeah.
This is breathtaking.
Yeah.
Like, this is something that is going to be remembered forever because, again, if it's last race. So for them to not really mention
And-
it was weird.
And it was a race that he deserved to win. Like he drove very well. It was a dry, wet type of race, which are my
Yep.
favorites.
Mhm.
Those
Kinda-
crazy
Yeah, like last week.
Yeah, and and he really held his composure, and I think and Max was just hunting him down too, which is crazy. So that's another thing. So he really held his own. He deserved that win, and it was just I would say it's really disappointing that Netflix didn't really follow that or play into that. Like it's such a good story to going from not winning for so long to finally winning. Imagine the amount of doubt,
I
the
bet.
mental
right.
battles that Hamilton was going through for the past.
Lewis has a magnifying glass on him
Yeah.
always.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I'm sure he was struggling.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm sure that win was a huge like confidence booster. I think he was just lacking confidence in the car and himself, and I think that was probably one of the biggest reasons why obviously he made the change to Ferrari, like just kind of like a new start.
Needs something new. Yeah.
We should have probably said this at the start of this, but definitely spoiler warning because we are going to be talking about all of the episodes.
Good point.
So obviously Netflix didn't necessarily do the best part there, but they did do some cool stuff. My favorite episode in particular was the Charles Leclerc episode.
Yeah,
for sure.
I thought
that's another good one.
That was super cool. I think his whole story with his dad and everything, I think they highlighted that amazing. The whole build up, a little bit of his life in Monaco. I think that was my favorite episode. Second to that was probably the episode where they gave the phones to all of the drivers.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That was cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
One thing to highlight about the Charles Leclerc's episodes that I didn't know this, but I remember watching it live, and he was always, they call it the Monaco, what is it? The Monaco curse, the curse of Monaco.
Yeah.
Like he had so many opportunities to win in the past, and Ferrari just botched.
Dude.
just like strategy, and there was
Just
always
nonsense.
something to happen. Yeah.
It's
It's just really I like Netflix really hit it out the park with that episode, right? It's like, of course you're gonna follow Charles Leclerc on his home race at Monaco. Like you have all cameras on him. Create that story, you create that narrative, and they didn't do it for Silverstone, but they did it for Monaco, and it was great. And I love the fact that the one thing I didn't know was that Charles Leclerc actually lied to his father before he died. Made it, told him that he made it to Formula One before signing any contracts.
That's awesome.
And he did.
Not lying to your dad, but how it all ended up.
Yeah.
But I know it was coming from the heart from him, and he seems like a very obviously when you hear him talk about it, it's very emotional for him to talk about that. But it's a beautiful story from start to finish. So yeah, big kudos to Charles.
Yeah, I think outside of that, like you said, the one with them recording was pretty good.
That was fun.
And
yeah.
And
I didn't know there were so many friends. I didn't know they knew each other from like
racing.
younger.
Yeah. Maybe they showed it in the episode of them when they were younger all together. But there's lots of pictures of Lando and George and all of them just kind of growing up together. It's interesting dynamic kind of.
I didn't know karting was like the gateway to Formula One. It all makes sense to me now, but I didn't think it was that intense.
It's like it's what is it, like the gateway to like the motorsports in general, right? It's like, but obviously everybody, especially out there in Europe, it's like karting, Formula One. They want to get into it. It's like all the greats have done it. Which is cool. So, and I can't imagine how expensive it must be to do that.
Pricey. That's some wild money. That's some definitely like investment. Like everything goes into it type thing.
Yeah, that's why it makes sense when Formula One is this luxurious and extravagant. It's just
which is why I have so much respect for Lewis Hamilton and his father, because they literally came from nothing and had like the shittiest set go-karts, and it was just pure skill coming from him.
The amount of respect I have for his dad, just simply based off what I saw, what happened last week,
right,
was that it's a lot.
Yeah.
But on an even more emotional note was Toto's final word to Hamilton.
Yeah.
His whole like little speech. Every time I hear that thing, it just hits me.
Yeah.
It just, I would suggest somebody go in there, search it up. It's the most amazing.
We won't spoil that one.
No.
Yeah, go search it up yourself. That was amazing. So they kind of made up for it a little bit there.
Yeah.
But that was amazing.
That was a long relationship they had.
How long was that? Probably
was it
6 years?
No, I think it was like 10 years.
Yeah,
I believe.
I think it was. Yeah.
Well,
it's a long time.
6 times. He won 7 times. He won the championship though.
Yeah.
Eight.
Yeah.
We can give him 8.
Well, no, I think no,
Yeah.
he's won with McLaren, and then he's gotten a good chunk of them through Mercedes. But
What a
you know,
savage.
yeah, yeah,
What a savage of a human.
yeah, yeah.
That's insane. We also put down like to talk about Oscar's multi-year contract with McLaren. I was not expecting that. In fact, I didn't know that he didn't have a multi-year contract with McLaren already. He was just going year by year. I don't understand that.
No, I mean, Matthew, you might know a little bit more, but I think he might have had like a year by year, or maybe he had 2 years. And
Yeah,
you know,
I think typically when they sign new people, it's either year by year or like a 3 year max kind of thing. But
yeah, it's a short period of time.
it really
for sure.
is.
I know Charles Leclerc had like one of the longest contracts with
Yes,
Ferrari.
I'm pretty sure
I know
that was like
a
7 or 8 years on his
Yeah.
contract.
Yeah, but I mean, it for Oscar, it's great because it shows. Dude, I've said it before. I'll say it again.
That boy
Like
can
he
drive.
is.
He
knows how to
has
drive,
this
man.
mentality too, like his first win, that just his reaction to it is so chill, so like relaxed.
Well, is this his first win, like that weird situation that happened with Lando, or his actual first win?
Honestly, I think both of them.
Oh,
He's very just kind of like, yeah, good job, this
Well,
is
in a
great.
way,
And
yeah. Well, going back to that what you were mentioning about Lando, like to be fair, he was leading.
He was.
And I think McLaren botched his in Hungary. They botched his like pit. Something happened where Lando got in front, and they're just like, "Hey, man, like papaya rules."
Yeah.
You know.
Which they kind of mentioned in the race last week was
They
a
did.
little strange.
Yeah.
Also, which is probably a good segue to talk
Yeah.
about the
Yeah,
race last
I
week.
mean, Oscar's home race, and
Yeah.
like hearing, like you said, the news about him getting to the contract was great to hear. Seeing him dominate, or not, but like, P2,
Yeah.
it was exciting, and
Yeah.
came right to the very end.
Yeah.
It was pretty
Well,
disappointing.
I mean, it was when I saw, again, we'll probably get to it, but when I saw him go into the grass, Crystal and I, we were watching, we were like, no. And anyway, so let's start from the beginning. I mean, we had first race
First race of the season,
of the
a
season.
wet race.
a wet race, which is always so exciting. If you're getting into Formula One and you see a race and then you see that it's going to rain, get your popcorn because it's going to be wild.
It's gonna be insane. We called it. Ben, you called it last chaos. These
Chaos.
safety cars, 3, I believe. Oh,
How many crashes?
I believe there were 6 DNFs.
Jeez.
Yeah, yeah.
How many safety cars?
About-
2 or
I
3?
think it was 3 safety cars. About 3.
Four
Yeah.
four
I
of
don't
the
think
6 rookies out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Isaac. Oh my God, Isaac. If you're watching this by some miracle, Isaac, I feel for you, brother.
Yeah. No, I mean, listen. Like the weekend started off pretty wild. We had no idea what to expect, right? Like we had FP1. These obviously McLaren is showing their dominance in FP1. Then we got like in one of the practices, I think it was FP2. Carlos Sainz,
Oh yeah.
top charts. Williams,
But they're coming back.
like,
Williams.
Even
Yeah.
Albon.
yeah,
Albon was great.
yeah, yeah. No, I really hope Williams is coming back, Matthew.
That'll be cool. They look good. I mean, Carlos was one of the people who crashed, but they looked.
No, but if I'm gonna look at any team right now from last year to now, I mean, 100%, like the most improved from what we're seeing is Williams, for
Without a
sure.
doubt. Yeah.
Like they've made such a leap forward. I get it. It's like take this first race with a grain of salt, obviously, because it's wet. It's still the first race. There's so much to go, but it was really impressive. I was really impressed by Williams and their performance.
Yeah, Williams was good. I was not impressed with Haas. Haas did not look good.
Yeah, poor Ollie.
Yeah,
Ollie
that's
Bearman,
another
man.
one. And
Yeah,
even just like one of the Drive to Survive episodes, he gets a chance to drive last year, and I think he ends up going off the road, and you hear the team principal tell him, he's like, you got to keep it on, got to stay on. You can see the pressure
Yeah.
that he's under, and then to know what happened this weekend,
Yeah.
just twice.
Still nothing tops Isaac's situation.
Yeah.
Let me paint this picture for the people who don't know. You are a rookie. This is your debut race in Formula One. You made it to the leagues. You're excited. You're pumped. Get in the car. Your first race. You're so excited. Obviously racing. Okay, it's racing, but whatever. Just so you can understand, before they start racing, there's a formation lap that needs to happen, meaning that they go around the track once and then they get lined up to actually start the race. Isaac unfortunately crashed, probably within turn 4 or something like that.
I believe, it was turn, one of those.
He couldn't even start his first race, and
Which he qualified pretty well for too.
Yeah,
he was
the
doing
top
very
rookie.
well this weekend.
he was a great rookie. They talk a little bit about his story on F1 TV. I saw.
Yeah.
He was pretty savage, but he unfortunately didn't make it, and that man was broken.
I'm gonna be very honest. When I watched the F1 that show, the 75, like with the car livery
Yeah, the whole spectacle.
reveal and all that stuff, and I saw Isaac, I was like, I think he made a really funny comment. It's like, what is this TikToker doing on F1? But I was like, oh yeah, he looks so much like he just looks like a just TikToker, I guess. I don't know, for lack of better words. But I obviously after watching like the rookie thing and seeing how he handled this situation, I kind of like the guy. And on top of that, he's a real big Lewis Hamilton fan. He gets like really nervous around him. So which I think going into like what Lewis' father did to him was really nice. Yeah.
I didn't get that vibe from him. I didn't really know. No, I just saw. I was like, who is this person? I didn't know they were so young. And again, these rookies are just like super young, 17, 18 years old. But from what I heard, and some of the things that they talked about, that boy can drive, and he is passionate about this.
If I remember right, I believe he came in second in F2, behind Bortoleto, and so yeah, he's pretty good, and I think he's in a lot better of a car than Bortoleto this year, and so I'm hoping we get to see him fighting a lot more, even with just some of the other rookies like Kimi Antonelli, who did great. I mean, I don't remember where he started, but to end up
he started P16
to P4.
P16 to P4.
He's a tiny little boy sitting in the back, and the boy, he just 18.
Tom
just
Holland
guys,
looking like
tries to say the right things. You can tell that he's new to like everything. But that boy did well.
He did very well, and I was impressed, honestly. The race was exciting. I think, the unfortunate situation happened with Isaac right after the race started. We had Jack into a wall, another Australian Aussie that just first lap in, boom, crashed as those two rookies out.
Yep.
It was pretty wild. There was a lot of crashes. Carlos Sainz, Fernando Alonso got out. Who else? So it was Isaac, Carlos Sainz, Jack, Fernando Alonso. Who else?
Liam.
oh
Yes.
yeah,
Yeah.
right
Which-
at the end.
Mark my words, and I said this in the text in the group chat, that Yuki will replace Liam.
There's a bold claim there, Ben.
I don't know,
Dave?
man. I just feel it. I feel like Yuki's doing a lot more interviews. I feel like he's just I don't know what he's doing, but I feel like he's pushing for that seat. He's gonna do whatever he needs to do to get
I think
that
that episode of Drive to Survive got to you.
seat.
They made it out to seem like a huge
I mean,
villain.
listen, it's the first race, right?
Yeah.
It's the first race, so we'll give him the benefit of the doubt. But if Liam doesn't do something, and with Yuki finishing P6 and he continues to perform, then
Listen, it's being a Red Bull driver is not easy. Being Max's teammate's not not an easy task.
Right. I wonder how much of it is how difficult they make that car to drive, because this is the 5th person to be teammates with Max, and
Yeah.
no one seems to compare. And I mean, I think it's obviously Max being Max, putting, raising the bar so much, but I think it goes to show that they're missing something, Red Bull, that they can't get these other drivers to behave well. And again, like you said, it's the first race, so we'll see. But man, Yuki has deserved that seat for a while now,
I
and
know he's been pushing for it.
I don't know.
Wait, what did he actually finish? I said P6, but I'm not sure if that's accurate. I think he finished a little after that, honestly. But still pretty impressed with how he drive. Who else? I mean, there's not much to say about Kick, but
No, I don't have the notes on Yuki, but I'm sure we could search that up real quick. But I have top 10 race results as Lando, Max, George Russell, Kimi Antonelli, Alexander Albon, Lance Stroll somehow made it through
yeah.
the fucking piece.
Lance another one who just sits in the background. Like, I know no one wants to fuck with me, but I'm gonna continue.
Have fun.
it's just- yeah. Nico Hülkenberg, Charles Leclerc, Oscar Piastri, and Lewis Hamilton P10.
Yeah. What do you think about the radios with Charles and Lewis and Ferrari in general?
Growing pains for Lewis for sure, but nothing too surprising with Charles based on other stuff I've heard from Ferrari there.
Yeah, Charles is a little asshole in behind the wheel.
I mean, they're all like just there's so much adrenaline happening. I mean, overall the race was super entertaining. It was cool to see Lewis leading for like half a lap, but fucking Ferrari, man. They need to get their strategy stuff situated, man. It's just been like an ongoing thing with them with their strategy, and they should have pitted both Charles Leclerc and Lewis Hamilton instead of keeping them out on those medium tires in the rain.
It's easy to say that. I mean, obviously watching it, but you have to make like a real time decision. It's raining. It's not raining. Like
at the same time, I mean, you have the top teams pitting for Inters. I mean, they were out on. So the moment Max went back in, for Inters,
you should go for Inters.
They should have just been like, let's just do it.
Yeah.
Let's just go for Inters, and then that way, I don't think they would have finished so far down if they would have just followed Max in. But again, hindsight 2020, right? It's like you think about everything that's going on. I mean, it's easy for us to sit here and be like, strategy, what the heck,
Right.
But those guys are doing this. They do this shit for a living,
Yeah. They were on Inters, moved to
Hard.
Slicks,
Yeah.
Hards, and then went back to Inters, which was crazy to see.
Yeah. It started raining for like even a minute. Like it's like, yeah, it was an interesting race. It was super entertaining. It got me super excited for next weekend.
China.
Yeah. Shanghai. It's gonna be a really interesting one. But
Wait, what was the results? What was the results from last year in Shanghai? Is there a way for us to pull that up?
yeah, I have the sprint. So China, we have sprint race weekend.
Oh,
Yes.
Yeah,
Early.
sprint race, and then we have a regular race. Yeah, so there. I think last year was also a sprint race too. So we're gonna be getting like a shorter race, before the big race, the longer one. So last year's sprint results, and it also did rain, by the way.
In China, it rained last year. Wow.
So at least for sprint, it was Max Verstappen, Lewis Hamilton, Sergio Perez, Charles Leclerc, Carlos Sainz, Lando Norris, Oscar Piastri, George Russell, Jaiguan.
Joke's on you.
Joke's on you. Yeah. Well, he's not here anymore. And Kevin Magnussen.
The only way I know his name. Joke's on you.
Joke's on you. Yeah. So that was the sprint race results for the Shanghai race. That's actually a pretty interesting track.
Yeah.
If you haven't seen it. It was a very long
I mean, we
straight.
raced it a couple times on the game.
Yeah. Not easy.
No.
They have that weird
That-
turn.
spiral
Yeah,
looking
that
thing.
looping
Yeah, that you
thing.
go back and spin back
Yeah.
around. But it's well, I'm
Yeah,
pretty
and
sure China was right before Miami last year. Um, and,
Yeah.
yeah, I guess just
Well, maybe. Not, I don't know. I don't know if it was. 'Cause I don't think they would do 2 sprint races back to back.
maybe
But,
not, maybe not.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited to see what
Yeah.
this new race
we
will.
got. I mean, we got new drivers. It's an opportunity for the rookies to redeem themselves. I don't think that this particular race was. You don't count that one as like a legit race because of the wet conditions.
Yeah.
But we'll see. This is an opportunity for Isaac to at least get to race, which I'm excited
Yeah,
for.
try to redeem himself, and obviously, there's a lot of criticism, but I can't imagine let's put yourself in that car, see what
Yeah.
you could do, right? Yeah, so that was the sprint race results. We have the race results. The actual race results was shifted a little bit from Max obviously winning, Lando Norris, Sergio Perez, Charles Leclerc, Carlos Sainz in 5th, George Russell, Fernando Alonso, Oscar Piastri, Lewis Hamilton, and Nico Hülkenberg. So I'm interested to know what everybody's predictions are for this weekend. We could do both sprint race predictions and or race predictions, but what do you think?
Not much to work off of, but
Yeah.
the only thing we can work off of is qualifying and practice.
Yeah,
Yeah, I gotta go with Lando for both of them. I think it's gonna be a tough battle for everyone else, and it seems like maybe Lando and McLaren has got things a little bit more focused now. So I'm hoping they can pull off both and just build this
They're
lead.
quick.
yeah.
They're quick.
I do gotta say, Lando really showed that he could handle the pressure this last
For
week.
sure.
Even on the
And-
radio, he's just
yeah.
so calm.
Yeah. He drove very well this past weekend. And I think Lando is known for kind of falling under pressure. And, there's been some opportunities of him winning a race in other seasons and just kind of, just it's just not going well. So I think he handled that race very well, especially with Max Verstappen right behind him, applying the pressure and his teammate. I don't mean to go back
No.
back and forth, but
It's something
still
to talk about
Yeah,
because
yeah.
at one point, I mean, Max was back like 20 seconds at one point.
yeah.
And McLaren was running away with it until the safety car came out, and then obviously everything went to shit. But
Yeah. And then Oscar Piastri right behind him too. Like that was a big thing. You have your own teammate.
You mentioned it a little before
Right.
about them kind of like they were fighting a little bit. Oscar and Lando. He's
Yeah.
about
Yeah,
to.
can we please talk about that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can we
Yeah.
talk about that? Because remember last year there was papaya rules and that whole situation with them
Yeah.
on Oscar's first. A little bit of that came out.
I think I
during
know
the
why.
race.
I think I might know why.
Why?
I think it had to do with the back markers. It's like the back markers, so the guys that they're about to overlap.
Mm.
So maybe they were waiting for them to pass the back markers. Imagine battling your teammate while you're also then trying to overtake.
Fair.
Sure.
The
But that's
back
not what they
markers to get
said.
out the way.
That's not what they said to him. They told him, "We're gonna wait till it dries up, and we go, and everyone's on slicks, and let you go
Yeah.
back at it." And then a few minutes
Yeah.
later, they just said, "Yeah, fair
Mm.
game, go." And
I think it was a mixture of both, though, because I do remember them about to lap somebody.
Yeah.
But the moment they told him, Oscar was like, "Well, I'm quicker, but okay."
yeah,
Yeah.
And right there, it's just like, which is one of the topics I wanted to talk to you guys about was McLaren needs to decide who's number one and who's number two. And I don't
Yeah.
think Zach has a clear driver right now.
Yeah.
yeah. I don't know. I mean, I don't know why they're kind of working this way. I think it's pretty obvious who should be the lead.
Yeah.
You have Lando, obviously, with a lot more experience under his belt, and can clearly perform well under pressure. But I think you can't do that to your drivers on track. I don't think it seems like he, rightfully so, was pissed off at them saying that, and I I'm not saying it's the reason why he ended up off the track after, because I know he was just
I think it
following
rattled him.
Lando, but yeah, it's a mental game too. This thing, it's
Yeah,
so
I think it rattled him. And after that happened, he made a mistake and he was back by like 2 seconds. Then obviously they changed tires and they were on slicks, and then that's when he kind of slipped into the grass, which was a little inspiring also because there's a video out there where you can see people in the stands rooting for him to get back on the track, which was also touching.
Yeah.
His home like race, people rooting for him again. Super cool. Like, you can't make this stuff up. Like, this is.
He got out,
which is impressive. I think if he would have stayed there and they got a safety car out, Max would have just been leading.
That's true.
I can't believe he pulled out of that. That was insane.
That's interesting that they didn't call a safety car. When do they have to make the decision on a safety car?
I think if they're stuck, yeah.
So if he's able to like drive out,
you have to make that decision. Like, he was on grass, on slicks. Like, how the hell do you get out of that?
He did
moving.
it. Yeah,
he did it.
You did.
Yeah.
But like, do you call it right away? Do you have to wait for the car to stop?
You kind of have to see if the car. They do give you an opportunity to try to get out. Even on the gravel, you'll see cars when they go into the gravel, they're stuck. You do see them attempt to try to move, and if they can't. Obviously, you're stuck. Then safety car comes out, and it's like
it's difficult for sure. I think there's a lot of controversy throughout other races where like they didn't call the safety car in on time, or they gave him too much time and let someone else, get an advantage, and so it's not easy. But I think it was. I don't think he needed it for sure. Obviously, I mean he got out and still was able to pass Lewis right at the very end. The hell of a overtake, but
that's true. I do hope Ferrari, and going back to the Ferrari thing, I do hope Ferrari can kind of figure things out. Again, I know Lewis, is a new racing engineer. He has to speak with that person. It seemed very awkward. He almost seemed like he was getting annoyed with what's going on.
I mean, he was saying please a lot.
Yes.
It was pretty
There's
funny.
a language barrier too. Like,
yeah. Again, growing pains, right? First time in a Ferrari, and Lewis didn't have as much time to practice and be in that car as quickly. As it was just a little different for him, right? And it was first time racing in the wets, so I think it was pretty impressive overall.
Well, my predictions for China, Shanghai. I think McLaren's still going to be on top. I want to say Max for third, but I'm thinking maybe Charles or maybe even Lewis. The third spot is going to be.
I'm sorry about that, guys. Some technical difficulties, but we're back.
Growing pains, like you say.
Yeah.
So my predictions was McLaren 1-2. Specifically, I'm gonna say Lando. He's looking good. He's quick. I'm very, very confident in Lando this year. Even though I'm a big Charles fan, I think Lando got it. But I do think Charles might come in third, and I think Max very close behind. Yeah. Lewis though, oof.
It's hard.
All right, I'm a little optimistic here. So I think,
and a little biased.
Yeah, a little biased. But one thing, I don't know if I read the FIA is cracking down on the little mini DRS.
Yes.
That McLaren is 100% taking advantage of. All these cars take it, but I think McLaren started it.
Yeah.
So I don't know if this is being implemented this weekend or not, but they're supposed to put like a ban on it. But if it is, I think my predictions would be, I still think Lando, for some reason, is going to be P1, like qualifying P1. I think it's going to be Lando, Charles Leclerc, Lewis Hamilton.
Oh, hold on. Wait. So you're talking about the mini DRS that they were talking about last season?
Yeah, they haven't really put a stop to that yet.
Oh, I thought they
So
did.
no, so after a certain speed, the back wing kind of
Lifts up.
Right.
I remember them. I remember them focusing the camera on that. I thought they addressed that.
I
and fixed that.
Well,
I think they did something. I do know that come race 9 this year, they're implementing a new rule to stop that. completely.
bad.
But you're right. I know there's something coming in China. My thoughts is like there's not enough time between Australia and China for the teams to really change much. So I don't think it's gonna be as big of a deal, at least in this next race, to how everyone was performing. But there's so much unknowns. Obviously, I don't think Ferrari showed their true potential last week.
No, I don't think so
and
either.
We'll see. We'll see. I'm hoping they put up a good fight.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, I think it's the last race was not enough for us to really decide on who.
It's tough. Papaya rolls and all. It's tough.
What about
to
the
call.
rookies? What do you guys think? Predictions
I was just
on
about to say, yeah. Okay, how about this? Let's try something new. Who do we think at the end of the season out of the rookies are going to be from the 5 that are here right now, right? The 5 new rookies. Let's see who's going to come off on top. Like, is it Kimi Antonelli? Is it Jack? Is it Isaac? Is Jack going to even be there? Is it going to be Franco? Like,
But do you count Kimi though in one of the rookies since he's driving a Mercedes?
Yes. Lawson is driving a fucking Red Bull.
Well, that's what's hard because he's going to be in a whole other game. I think we can like Kimi and Liam.
Yeah.
Out of those two, I think I'm gonna go for Kimi to lead because I don't know, it's just a hell of a drive for him so far, and I believe in Toto.
Yeah.
And his, but from the other ones, I think they're kind of closer together with their cars. Isaac, man, I'm impressed so far, and I think he has the car to win it.
I'm rooting for
out of
Isaac.
them. So
Just because of what happened.
Yeah.
You can just you can just see his whole demeanor, everything about him. He was absolutely devastated.
He's gutted.
And I think that's just gonna add fuel to the fire to prove to everyone that he got this and he knows what he's doing and he can perform.
Right.
So Isaac, I'm a big fan of him so far. I hope he does well. I think he's gonna be probably better than Bordatello. Is it Bordatello or is it how do you say his name?
Bortoletto.
Yeah,
Bortoletto. I don't know. I have to see it. Yeah.
I do think Isaac is going to be up there. I do think it's going to be Kimi Antonelli leading the rookies throughout the season, and I just think it's just not even because of the fact that he's driving a Mercedes, but I mean the kid's quick and he's picking up really fast. He did so well this in wet, in the wet race, but I do think it would be Kimi. Lawson, Isaac, what is it? Bortoletto?
Bortoletto, yeah.
Yeah. Jack. I don't know if Jack. I don't know. I don't know, Matthew. What do you think? I don't know if he's gonna finish the season. That might be a little ballsy of me to say, but
I think it's unfair. I think people like because Colapinto is their reserve driver this year, and so there's a lot of talk about replacing Jack already with Colapinto, and I don't know. I mean Jack got pretty far in this race. Obviously, still crashed into the wall, but
he did good this weekend.
We'll see.
I would say, yeah. And then unfortunate what happened.
Yeah, I don't think he needs to be concerned about losing his seat in any way. I feel like there's lots to show from him. I think he'll be up there. Ali is the only other one that I mean he's in the Haas, and I don't feel like Haas is gonna kill it this year.
Isn't Haas turning into Audi?
No, that's the Kick Sauber. Yeah.
Sauber.
Yeah. We're getting Audi next year, and then I think Cadillac as well.
That's gonna be insane. That's gonna be so sick.
Weird. Who are they going to bring in? Who do you think their drivers are going to be?
I have no idea. I'm sure there are some F2 guys. Yeah. Maybe an American. Who knows? Maybe.
I mean, you have Checo available.
Bringing him back. Imagine. Oh my God, that'll be drama. That'll be perfect for Netflix.
Yeah. No, I don't know, honestly, who the whole Cadillac situation. I'm sure we'll find out as the season goes on.
Excited, yeah.
And
I'm excited to learn. New cars too come 2026.
new regulations, new everything.
So
Yeah.
that's gonna be insane.
Listen, the part of me still hopes that Ferrari Lewis gets. I just hope that he is at least fighting for it this year. At least I would hope that Ferrari put him in a car that like, and I think they do. I just think it comes down to him, really, and just really getting
so.
comfortable with the car. And I know that's going to take him a couple of races to do, but I just think his determination, just his drive, I really do think he might just be fighting up there for a title. I don't know. Just something tells me, guys. I am biased. I admit it, but you know,
I hope so because quali, he didn't seem quick enough. He seemed, again, I'm sure he's learning the car. He has to. I mean, are you going to be able to learn it so quickly that you can have a chance to fight for McLaren, who is now seems to be at their prime right now? It's going to be very difficult, and Lewis needs to do something.
Yeah, it's weird because everything's changing so much next year. I wonder. I think it's really it depends on who can adapt. Obviously, the quickest on this, but the new cars it makes it so unknown. I mean, Ferrari could be dominating for all we know, or Williams, who like it's so it feels like if Lewis is going to push for it, this is the year to do it. While these cars are at the end of their life, everyone knows what's going on. Just learn quick and push.
Yeah, well, like we saw last year. I mean, once they started getting upgrades and stuff like that, the whole
P2
thing
in
changed.
the constructors.
I'm not gonna lie. Last year, I thought it was just gonna be another Max Verstappen winning every single race. But if this season's gonna be, everybody thinks it's the closest it's ever been. I mean, look at the first race, right? Like qualifying, FP1, FP2, FP3, all that stuff. The cars are very, very, very competitive this year. So it's like almost like equal performance in the game. So, but yeah, I'm excited to see what happens. Upgrades, I'm sure, are going to be coming in probably by the Miami race mid-season. Who knows what could happen. But
well, I mean, they said it at the beginning. This is probably going to be one of the wildest seasons in a very, very long time.
If you're trying to get into it, get into it now.
This is the time. The field was separated by like 0.6 of a second, like the entire field.
Yeah.
Like that's the closest it's ever been. So, if you like racing, this is probably the greatest time to get in. It's going to be absolutely epic, and I can't wait for every second of it. It's going to be insane.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Awesome. Matthews, anything else that you want to touch on before wrapping up?
No, I think I'm hopeful for Lando this year. But I think I don't have much else. I think we covered it all. We'll just have to wait and see. Come next week, I'm sure we'll all have completely different opinions and so.
Yeah. Next thing you know, we're like, so Kimmy's going to probably win the championship.
Yeah, exactly, right?
Well, final thoughts for me would be I'm excited for the rookies still. I think there's a lot that they have to redeem themselves, every single one of them. I still think it's going to be absolutely chaos back there. And I'm just looking forward just to seeing the back of the field and how they perform. I think McLaren has this in the bag, to be honest, just what I'm seeing, but I'm always happy to wish for like an amazing comeback story for Ferrari.
Yeah, no, I agree. I'm hopeful. Let's see what happens this weekend. We have a bunch of back-to-back races and a lot for Ferrari to learn and develop and hopefully, work out some kinks. But something tells me that this might just be another Max versus McLaren versus Ferrari versus like Mercedes situation. I don't know why, and I hope I'm proven wrong, but let's see. I really hope that Liam really steps up and shows that he could hang with the top dogs. And
If not,
you know.
Yuki's gonna be there.
yeah,
Just saying.
yeah,
Just saying.
yeah, man. Yuki Tsunoda is so underrated, but yeah, let's see.
Well, I mean, this was awesome. Thanks so much. Remember, follow us. I mean, we have all of our socials, Turn14 Podcast. Give us a follow, like, subscribe, do whatever you need to do. Everyone should know what to do by this time. Yeah, we appreciate it. Until next time.
Awesome. Thank you, everybody, for watching.
Thanks for
Looking
sure.
forward to the next one.
See you guys.
Take care.
Bye.